decided I would warn you up front. Today's episode is off the chain. But hey, since you're watching, see that button right there? Make sure that you hit the like, subscribe button, also the notification button, so you can be notified the next time we have a show. One other question: you woke? Time to get up. Okay, so I had some folks tell me they want me to talk about Kevin Samuels. I don't want to talk about Kevin Samuels. As far as me, he's irrelevant. If you're listening to Kevin Samuels, believe me, his advice to me is irrelevant. So why do I need to talk about somebody who's giving people bad relationship advice? Yes, I've been divorced before, but I've remarried and been happily married for 11 years. So his relationship advice sucks. As far as I'm concerned, it sucks. You have to figure it out for yourself. Really, you do. But I would suggest that you look at some things. This is, you don't have to believe in Christianity to look up this fruits of the Spirit, because a person in your life should have those things in their life: faithfulness, endurance, peace, joy. All those are important to a relationship. You should look for a person like that. It shouldn't be about big butts, six-pack abs, $100,000 bank accounts. It shouldn't just be about those things. There's a mental and psychological side to things. A woman doesn't want a man that's going to beat her every day, and a man doesn't want a woman that's going to mentally abuse him every day because he either had one failure in his life, or he's sick, or anything. People want people that they can both give and take from. A relationship is give and take. If you ain't ready for give and take, then why are you even in a relationship is my question. So that's why I'm not going to give the smoke to Kevin Samuels or anything he says. And then black women, if you believe what Kevin Samuels says about you, you have a problem yourself. See, God says that he created you. So therefore, God created you for great things. You are a beautiful, wonderful individual. You don't have to listen to Kevin Samuels tell you that you're great, wonderful, or any of those things. See, guys like that, man, put them to the side, for real. I'm telling you right now, God created you in his images. You're beautiful. You're likable. There's someone out there for you. He may not have six-pack abs. He may not have $100,000. Stay away from the thugs, too, because that's not necessarily the best thing for your kids. Now, some of y'all upset, but you don't have babies by all the fools. You sat there and gave up too much. Some of y'all are too hard. You're too caught up on the business side of things. A relationship ain't always all about business. So you have to think about that too. Anyway, I'm just going off the rails on this. So like I said, I really don't care about Kevin Samuels. So before I go crazy about this Chris Walker kid, let me explain something. I don't totally blame Biden for the oil prices. Actually, I don't blame him at all for the oil prices. There's nothing he could do about OPEC deciding to cut production and hold on to the barrels they had collected from COVID when people weren't driving and gas wasn't around as much. The fact that there's stuff sitting off the coast, that's another reason. COVID is the biggest reason for all of this. It's caused people not to be able to work, literally. But I forgot, he says I'm a crying baby because I'm bringing up the fact that working people, something he doesn't do. What he does, he's working all right. He's working as a campaign person for his dad. They've actually suspended his Twitter account because guess what? He's a rich boy, second generation rich boy who doesn't have to work for a dime as far as I know, other than campaigning for his father and getting on Twitter. He's probably an expert at doing stuff like that. He wants to talk about us being lazy, sitting on our couch eating popcorn, watching his dad on Sunday. Well, that means we actually work because we have a couch and a TV to watch his dad on Sunday when his dad played back in the 80s. Because that was back in the 80s when your dad played, right? But since then, he's worked hard to make sure that you had the things that you have, right? You ain't got them. You don't own them. If your dad was to kick you out on the street today, are you able to get your own? Are you able to work hard? Are you going to run on a football field, Will, and do something to work? I don't think so. So take your little soft behind, sit down, and be quiet. That's all I can tell you to do is take your little soft behind somewhere and sit down and be quiet. I shouldn't give certain people a time of day, but Margerie Taylor Greene deserves a little bit of the time of day. So she decided to rail against Kwanzaa. She says it's a fake religion started by a psychopath. The only psychopath I see in Congress right now is Margerie Taylor Greene, to be honest with you. And I usually don't judge people, but I'm going to come out and say she's a psychopath. This one says that all the mass shootings are false flag operations, that these are special ops folks going into school killing folks. I don't quite believe that theory. I think that theory is quite crazy and insane. Then she attacks the kids who go to school. She chases behind them with cameramen and all those things. Alex Jones type stuff. Alex Jones just got sued and lost every single case for what he did. Right? So I got nothing for Margerie Taylor Greene. Margerie Taylor Greene is one sick chick, okay? She's sitting there talking about false religion. So Christianity is something I totally believe in. So please don't get what I'm about to say wrong. But we've taken holidays like Halloween. Halloween was a pagan holiday. Christmas is a pagan holiday. Easter is a pagan holiday. This is Jesus' birthday is Christmas for me. Fall festival is Halloween for me. Easter is Resurrection Sunday. That's what it is for me. So here, I'm going to go against her and all her little conspiracies. So let's start with Christmas. Christmas, we celebrate Jesus Christ. Now, we got kids believing that Santa Claus is the one who is the giver of everything. And we've stopped telling our kids about Jesus Christ, basically. Instead, you're running on Black Friday to get goods, and we can all talk about what Black Friday really means. In some historical doctrines, that's the Friday when black people were sold as slaves on the market. But let's really talk about what's going on here with Margerie Taylor Greene. Like I said, she's a conspiracy theorist. She believes in white replacement theory. She believes that exists. She believes that there's a conspiracy by the Democrats to replace white people, and they're eating their babies. That's what abortion is about, so they can eat babies and stuff like that. Margerie Taylor Greene believes that. She believes, probably like Alex Jones, that there are tunnels under Walmart. Meanwhile, she's raising millions of dollars, and she actually got elected to Congress, but she was removed because she was calling for violence against Democrats in Congress. She was removed from her committees, but she wasn't removed from office, right? She was removed from committees because Republicans refused to censure their own person. There's a problem with the Republican Party. Now, I don't know. They're going nuts. They're crazy. Because, of course, this week they've turned against Donald Trump because Donald Trump said he got the vaccine and he took the booster shot. So now he's the most evil man on earth, according to Alex Jones. These are the extremists of the party. And I understand they're the extremists, but, Millie Mouse Mitch and the rest of that crew, they're just as bad. Rand Paul, he's just as bad. He's trying to say, I'm a friend of Donald Trump. I'm a friend of Donald Trump. And he's talking against the vaccine, right? That's what he's doing. He's an idiot, too. But, he's a obstetrician. He's not he doesn't deal with viruses and things like that on regular, unless they're in the eyeball, right? He is a doctor, but he's lying to you because he's probably taking the shot. Most people have taken the shot. He's taking the shot too. He's even had the virus. So whatever he tells you, he's lying too. But let's get back to Margerie Taylor Greene. This woman has railed against Kwanzaa. Like I said, she railed against Kwanzaa. She sat there and called it a fake religious holiday. First of all, it's not a religious holiday. It's a celebration of black culture, of our spirituality, of our land, and the blood we've shed over the years. So since you do not understand this, Margerie Taylor Greene, and you've probably never read anything about Kwanzaa in the first place, you're just here railing off. It's not your culture, so you didn't read about it. See, you got to understand, as a black man who's a Christian, I read about your culture and my culture too, because I care about learning things from both sides. You, on the other hand, I don't think you care much about anything unless it's all about white supremacy. White America, white Anglo-America. It's disappearing. No, it's not. It's still white Anglo-America. There's nowhere, the way that's going to go away. This is who you are. So why are you fighting so hard to hurt people that look like me or look like Ilhan Omar? You don't like them because they're a little different. This is America. It's supposed to be a melting pot, not a Anglo pot. Not one stew. We got beef in here, but we don't have potatoes and we don't have carrots. We just got beef. That's what you want. You just want the beef. You don't want anything else. So everybody else has got to give up who they are for you. Yo, sorry, little QAnon chasing little kids around, crazy tale. I wish they would just kick you out of Congress, but that's not going to happen, so we have to deal with you. Okay, so switching to football, one of my favorite sports in the world, especially college football. A lot of people are upset, especially at Florida State, that Travis Hunter decided that he was going to go to Jackson State University, which is in Mississippi. It's a historically black college and university. So they're so upset about it. They're burning uniforms and doing all this stuff. Meanwhile, there are other people railing against NIL. You know what NIL is? Name, image, and likeness. See, for years, amateur athletes, as they were called in college football, would sign a deal with the university that said they would not use their name, image, and likeness, but basically gave up their name, image, and likeness rights to the university so that the university could use it. And then a lot of times they reaped millions of dollars off of these players. Of course, then there's bowl deals. There's also ESPN, Fox Sports, all the network TV. They're all making deals off of college football, making money off of these kids. Now, if one of these kids get hurt, guess who's paying the bill? The parents, not the school. The school doesn't pay for it. They have a trainer so the kid can get some training. But when the kid needs treatment, he has to go to a doctor. He has to go see a doctor. So when he wants to go see the doctor, his parents have to pay for that if he gets hurt. And the university has a right, or used to, I think they changed that rule, but used to have a right to drop your scholarship whenever they felt like it. You know what? We need to drop this kid's scholarship, so we're going to go ahead and drop it because he's not performing well on the football field. He's been injured so long, he's no longer a part of the team. I remember a kid, they had to raise money for him. I don't know if y'all remember the kid at Mississippi State. This is going to be so long ago. This is back before most of you played. Excuse me. This was back in the 90s. This young man became paralyzed playing football. They had to raise money for him. The school did allow him to finish his scholarship. He later died from his injuries, but he was paralyzed from the neck down. So he couldn't move anymore. People don't realize what people give up to play this sport, which is a sport, by the way. Even Hershel, I just got through talking about Hershel Walker. He went to school. He knows all about this stuff. He's one of the 1%. See, most kids are going to school because they're thinking they don't get that opportunity to play football. He's that 1% that actually made it. And there's actually a Division 3, that plays without scholarships. So they're just playing football because they like the sport, right? But these schools still make money off of these kids, and they've signed these deals that said that the school can use your name, image, and likeness, and that you would not profit off of that name, image, and likeness. You could start a business, they said, while you were in school, but you can't use your name, your image, or your likeness because that would be violating the amateur rules. But the school can, and they were making profits off of this for the quote-unquote purpose of education. That was what they were using it for. Now the Supreme Court ruled that these kids can make money off of that. So people are railing against saying, "Oh, now it's going to cost the schools too much money, and the bigger schools are going to win out, so on and so forth." Well, if a kid can go out and get a contract, great. It's really going to only help with the big sponsors like Coca-Cola and maybe IBM, Amazon, all those folks. But it may help some little guy out there in the corner, because the guy who owns maybe that lighting store around the corner, he wants to put this kid that's the local kid from the high school or the college up on the billboard that people know because he's that local star, and it draws attention to his business, right? So he can put him on there and pay him a little bit something on the side. So the kid's now got a little extra money. Maybe when he get out of school, it's money he can buy a house with. Maybe it's some money he can start a business with and put other people to work. I have no problem with that. But apparently a lot of you have a lot of problems with this. You also have a problem with the transfer portal. I'm sorry. These kids aren't loyal. There's no necessity for loyalty because the coaches aren't loyal. Coaches are up and leave and go somewhere else too. All of that is a bunch of BS. So I don't get what you're talking about. Oh, you're not loyal. These kids aren't loyal. Forget that. If a child has played on that football field, he's not a child anymore, he's a grown man. He plays on that football for 4 years, and he gets the best he can out of that, and he's got another year of eligibility. If he wants to go somewhere else, go there. If he's got 2 more years of eligibility, go where you want to go. Do what you want to do. Don't let these people get in your way, because they're just folks sitting up in the stand, eating hot dogs, drinking beer, and eating popcorn. And they call themselves loyal to your football team. Oh, we're loyal because we sit in the stands through the cold weather and the rain. I thank you for that, but at the same time, you don't get what these kids have to go through every day. They're not like normal students. They can't live a life like a normal student. They can't even use their name, image, and likeness, while the kid who's sitting in class, he can use his name, image, and likeness to try to become famous if he wanted to. He can do whatever he wants. He can get a job, a regular 9-to-5 job like anybody else. And if this kid goes somewhere and he's spectacular at something, he can't get paid for being spectacular at it, because it says because he is a football player, he's getting special privilege because he got paid for that. Not because he was really good at what he did. So he couldn't even get paid any more than anybody else. So let's say you made him a manager, and everybody at the business made $798. Now he's a manager, he's got to make $798. Because he can't be any better than anybody else. In fact, he can't even get that promotion, because they're worried that he's going to get that promotion and be something special, more special than everybody else there. But I digress. Let's get back to that basic fact. What's wrong with Mr. Hunter going to Jackson State? Nothing. SWAC used to be the place where black kids went all the time. I have no problem with that. So we're talking about Florida State. You know, some guy there is burning the jersey. The school lost to Jacksonville State. UAB beat them 31-0. UAB beat Jacksonville State 31-0. And I'm sure Florida State thinks they're better than UAB. I think they're better. They think they're better than probably a lot of other schools. But guess what? They got their tails beat by Jacksonville State. Yet they're worried about some kid that wants to go to Jackson State in Mississippi, which to me is a better school than Florida State is right now anyway. I'm just saying. So, before I go, I want to reel off against one other thing. Our Congress. Our Congress that can't pass the Build Back Better plan because of Joe Manchin, they say, who's the one person that they can't find a way to rein in. So, this man who's got millions of dollars that he's gotten from miners, which only make up 3% of the population of West Virginia at this point. You know, I thought mining in that state was like 45, maybe 25% of the state, but it's only 3%. But he's made millions of dollars from that in other investments. Of course, you know, like this military bill that they had the other day, he voted for it. He totally voted for that. So $798 billion of military spending is on the desk of the military. But we can't do anything for other working class Americans. We can't do anything for the babies. You know, here's what I criticize Republicans on. You believe in ending abortion and protecting the rights of babies to be born in this world, but then you won't do anything to keep them alive or make sure that they grow up properly in this country. You don't want to do that. You just want them born. You want babies born. But I think the real reason most Republicans now are getting this because we keep hearing about this negative birth rate among white people in the United States, and it's a problem for them. So that may be the reason why you're pushing so hard for anti-abortion. It may not be. It may be actually your religious beliefs, because it's mine too. I believe in I'm pro-life, but I'm pro-life on all things. I don't believe in war. I think it's the worst thing in the world. I don't believe in guns, because guns kill people. You know, I have to give you your right to bear arms, because that's part of a person's living right to have a right to make a choice. But at the same time, I don't like guns. I don't. Okay? I don't like the death penalty. I don't think that other people who commit sins should be judging other people, because sometimes I think judges literally kill people on the bench. Oh, that sounds awful what I said. I said, yeah, they kill innocent people on the bench. They're not locking them up. We know that cops kill people on the street. Not all of them get locked up or put in jail. Sometimes we're like, well, it just happened. It was justified. It was justified when it wasn't really justified. We know that happens all the time. But at the same time, let me say this. Everybody has a right to life. If we can put the guns down, people can live. So, well, you kill cows, and that's eating to live, and that's a little different. But I even believe in the sanctity of their life. They shouldn't live a bad life before they die. Nobody should. Nobody should. So, I've been railing against a lot of things. But that's the one thing I have to rail against is the lack of effort in Congress to actually get things like the George Lewis bill passed. We've let everything get in the way from John Lewis bill passed, or the George Floyd bill passed, or the other civil rights legislation passed. There's no real effort. You believe in stuff because you wouldn't have gotten the hate bill passed. And I have nothing against that bill. I think that's great that you passed that bill. But why you can't pass the John Lewis bill? Why can't you pass H.R. 4? And why can't you pass the John Lewis bill? I mean, George Foreman bill. George Floyd bill needs to pass just like all the rest of them. I do not understand what you really are doing. Like I said, that $790 billion bill passed, and you still can't pay. There's 40,000 active duty soldiers right now in the military on food stamps. 40,000 active duty military personnel on food stamps. That should not be happening. You should be able to feed. They should be able to feed their entire families. That should not be happening. You gave them $798 million. Then there's the folks in Hawaii whose water have been contaminated by a gas tank that's been around since World War II. We've given you $798 billion and you can't fix it. You couldn't replace the gas tanks before now? You're too busy giving the money to the contractors, right? Too busy dishing out our money to people you shouldn't be dishing the money out to. And yes, I'm railing off against Congress. Then you try to silence the voices in Congress who are trying to speak out against the things you're doing. You silence their voices. You fight against them, and people who are running for office to fix it, you fight them. It's the Democrats and Republicans. You fight them. You want your type of people in there that's going to just go, yes, yes, give me more corporate dollars. Give me more of your money. Give me more, and I'll keep doing all kinds of stuff to hurt the American people. Yes, yes, yes. That's what you want. So I picked the end of the year to rail off against morons running our country and doing evil stuff. Not just Mitch McConnell. Chuck Schumer. Or Manchin. There's others I could mention. The Black Caucus has not stood up for black people the way it should have. It should have said on the infrastructure bill, we will not vote for this infrastructure bill if you do not bring the John Lewis bill up for a vote. You didn't do it. You said, come on, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's not do this now, black people, because you know it's going to be good for black people. Let's not do this. Then we're about 88 to 11 on a military bill where we say, oh, wait a minute. The Black Caucus will not vote on this bill until you do this. Until you do this. You did not stand up. Not once. So I blame the Black Caucus for that. So, well, it takes time. It takes time. No. You didn't stand up when you needed to stand up. I don't care who you are in Congress. I've heard you talk. You've talked a lot. And that's all you do is talk. The American people need action. We have people in our state legislatures that do the same thing. I walked out on the town hall meeting one day, and I made sure everybody saw me walk out. I said, I'm tired of this. I hear the same old thing and ain't nothing getting done. Same old thing. So I ranted and raved and ranted and raved, ranted and raved. Maybe you get what I'm saying, maybe you don't. I hope the American people do. I hope a lot of you have heard this and understand where I'm coming from. I would like to say this. Happy New Year. Maybe next year will be better. Maybe we as a people will find a way to get along. Because that was me being angry. I really want to love you. I don't want to be angry at you. But we need to eliminate those things in our lives that cause us pain. Or at least tell the truth about them. That's one thing the Bible says. Don't go to sleep on your anger. So I didn't want to go to sleep on my anger. I don't want to go to sleep on my anger. And I don't want to just continue to say, it's okay. And kind of talk over the top of things. When the truth is, there's pain there. Don't go to sleep on your anger. Talk to your brother about it. Try to work this out. If you want to work it out with me, you can leave a comment below. Or, better yet, hit the like and subscribe button. We'll keep doing this all year long. if you leave a good comment, you might end up on the podcast with me. How about that? Talk to you later. You have been listening to Thought You're Woke, No Speed Limit Podcast.